Hello, welcome to the BCM Podcast. I am today's host, Brad Swail. To my top left is, of course, Charles Blain, and to my top right is, of course, Michael Searle. Why is my eye like that, Charles?
Yeah, you okay?
I punched him.
I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I think I'm getting a sty, I believe. It's some sort of eye infection.
Like an eye STD?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I've been it's called a whispering eye.
Whispering eye.
And neither of you understand what that means because y'all are not cultured, but I'm sure there's a listener out there that will get it. So, what do we got going on today? It's a brand new day. It's a brand new. It feels like. Does it feel like 2016 again, or does it feel different?
Way different.
Look, this is the guy. He should have won.
When?
He should have won. When? Every time.
He seem like a Bush type of Republican.
I seem like a Bush type of Republican. Why? Because I want density in all of the cities. I want to destroy single family neighborhoods. I want the government to come in and destroy people's property. Yeah, I'm a Bush Republican. Fucking idiot. Good morning. We're doing this a little bit early today. I'm sorry that we're not live, people. All right, we did predictions last time, and I believe I won because I always do. What was the final tally electoral votes?
I think it was two.
It's going to be 312.
It's going to be 312. Well, Michaels, what was yours? I think you had Kamala winning. Is that right?
No, I had Trump winning all the swing states except for Michigan because I thought Big Gretch would pull out the big steal over there, but you know.
Gretch.
She did. So I had 297. I had 297, which was closest.
Well, let's pull up the real map of what happened.
Well, I think I win because.
Shut up, Charles. So here's Arizona. I don't know why Arizona is not being called. 52-47, and with 76% of the votes in. Why is Arizona not called yet, according to the New York Times? There's no way.
100,000 votes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but there's only 200,000 outstanding ballots. They could call Arizona. I feel like they called Nevada. Somebody called Decision Desk called Nevada.
New York Times is not calling it, and over 95% of the votes are in. 51-47. What's going on, New York Times? At any rate, right now it's 295-226. If I'm not mistaken, I was right on the dot at 295. So I think I won.
I mean, we didn't set a deadline by the end of the show. I think the deadline is when all votes have been counted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Our deadline for the Electoral College wasn't.
No, I don't believe so. So here is my map. And if you look really closely, what is that number right there?
The point is our deadline.
The point is he has been declared the winner. And at the declaring of winning,
no, he didn't have 295.
He was declared before 295.
I am exactly correct.
Wait, so then I win because he was declared closer to my numbers. No. That's how we're going for it.
I'm sorry that neither of you are good at politics. I apologize.
Let's stop this nonsense.
In hindsight, I was the only one who said Trump was going to win this election a couple months ago. So who really won, Brad, in your style?
Well, you know what? If you're going to be ableist this morning, I'm going to just sign off the show. All right. We're going to end it. We're going to end the recording. And then you and I are going to have a little conversation about respect. All right.
Hey, Dad. These jokesters this morning. Okay. The truth of the matter is my map was closest because I had Trump winning the most electoral votes. Charles, at the beginning of the year, when we predicted who would be the next president, predicted Charles. So Charles and Michael are winners. Brad
is a loser.
I'm pretty sure that
Trump winning New Mexico.
What's Nikki Haley doing nowadays?
Yeah. Halfway endorsing Trump, halfway not.
All right. So fine, whatever happened. I think I still think you win a BCM hat. By the way, if you're listening to this and you retweet this show, you win a BCM hat that Michael has there. I don't even have a BCM hat. And I do. You have one? He mailed it to you?
Yes.
He refuses to see me in person, so I guess
I would too.
Well, in all fairness, we were scheduled to have lunch last week. I was going to bring you a hat. Brian T canceled on us. So I had a plan to give you your hat.
It's Ryan's fault that there's no hat.
Oh my God, I should have never done this show with this die. We have 4 hosts today.
Right, Michael
Michael,
Charles
my
Sty.
style.
Bry the Sty.
All right. So what happened in 2020 is the real question. Now, it seems like there's plenty of evidence to suggest that there were some shenanigans, right? No? Seems like now it's obvious.
Well, here's was my thought when I saw it. If the numbers are in fact precise, accurate, there's no messing around with ballots and stuff, as Trump claims. That would mean that 1 in 5 people who came and voted for Joe Biden in 2020 or mailed in their ballot, 1 in 5, 20%, close to 18%, decided not to vote for Kamala. That seems like a lot. It seems like a lot.
Yeah. So this is the chart that's been going around. U.S. presidential election popular vote, Democrat versus Republican in millions. And the Democrat popular vote in 2012, 2016, and 2024, pretty flat. I mean, a slight increase, but damn, 2020 popped off. 20 million extra votes that just disappeared. And remember, guys, this was the end of democracy.
I mean, I don't find it that hard to believe, honestly.
Oh, shut up, you normie.
Here's the thing. In 2016, Trump was much more disliked by the general public than he was today. And the idea of Biden was that he was running to stop Trump. And so I can see why people were more motivated to come out and vote. Another weird thing is that Latinos provided Joe Biden a 17-point advantage in 2020. And then went to a nearly and with a 17-point advantage in 2020 to Donald Trump with a 10-point advantage in 24. 17 to 10 for Donald Trump. That's a massive swing, similar to a massive swing that we see in people turning out for Biden to now. There were a lot of irregular outcomes of this election because of how crazy these past 4 years have been and how much people actually do like him. And I attribute a lot of that to the podcast circuit.
You are jumping ahead a little bit in the schedule of topics, but that's okay.
I never saw a schedule, so
that's because you don't pay attention. All right, I'm sorry that you don't actually participate in this podcast except for on Fridays.
That's not nice.
Well, here we are. So let's just talk about. People are mad at Latinos. These are a selection of comments about Latinos. Latinos aren't immune from being fucking idiots. These are not my words. These are Charles's words.
These are random people
with sound racist, but Latinos fucking disgust me. Latino men and their fucking machismo. Charles, you have a lot of sock accounts.
What is a sock account?
What the sock account? You guys don't know anything.
Michael, do you know what a sock account is?
Like anonymous account?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I assume that's what it was, but I don't know what sock means.
It's what you use at night. Gets you know what to do. You know it's your sock.
Anyway, so my point is that this election was so irregular that it's not surprising to me that you have this massive drop off, and you have someone again, Biden, who was running for a very specific purpose. Now you had Kamala, who was running because it was a very different purpose. It wasn't to stop Donald Trump. It was because you wanted the first Black female woman. Do you want to move the country forward? This, that, the other. I just think there's a very big difference between then and now.
1 in 5.
Look at this. Trump won Starr County, Texas, most Hispanic county in America at 97% by 16 points. Last time it voted Republican was in 1892.
See, like that, when you have things that like that happening, of course you're going to have irregular numbers all across the spectrum of the.
It doesn't account for it because Trump's votes went down from 2020 to 2024. His votes are down, so it can't account for people just switching votes. There were a significant.
No, then they didn't vote.
Okay, how about does this help you maybe a little bit, Charles, come to the side of truth? Bellwether counties. You know what bellwether counties are? Do I need to explain that one too?
Yeah, I know what bellwether counties are.
I'm sorry. It seems like often you don't know what's happening. So here's a chart of the bellwether counties. And in 2020, Trump wins all but one, but loses. And then 2024, Trump wins all but 2, but wins. And then every other year, the person that wins the most bellwether counties just wins the election. It's kind of interesting, all these anomalies around 2020.
There's also a 6% drop.
Charles, quick question. What does New York Times tell you to think?
There's also a 6% drop in turnout in Texas from 2020 to 2024.
Interesting.
6%. So people are so your argument is that all of these fraudulent ballots happened in Texas as well, and they just didn't find them.
I'm sorry, what? They didn't.
What's your argument then? There's a 6% drop in Texas. You don't think it was a lack of enthusiasm?
My argument is that there is a significant amount of ballots that didn't happen this time. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been explained. 1 in 5 voters who voted for Biden did not vote. It's still against Trump. I get that 2020 was about.
But Trump is more likable, and the Democratic Party is more unlikable today. So you might still not want to go vote for Trump, but you don't feel as motivated to go out and vote against him. Well, not you, some people.
I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see where those votes were specifically, as somebody does. Somebody will do an analysis on that and show us where those missing votes are, and I'll be interested to see a heat map. That's all I'm saying.
So I think Charles is on the side of this guy right here. Let me make sure that this is clearly visible. I think this is where Charles lands. Famous cuck Destiny, the omniliberal. Given the Dems turned out some 15 million fewer voters, I can't wait to see all the posts from conservatives admitting that they were completely wrong about the deep state and rampant voter fraud. Charles and the cuck.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What? Why do I call him a cuck?
I'll wait to see.
Do you know who Destiny is? I guess I should start there because you don't know things.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I guarantee you the listeners know who Destiny is. He started out as a professional gamer, was very successful at that, and started commenting on politics. He married a very hot woman who.
Oh, that guy from a couple months ago?
I mean, he's been around for a very long time. He's been on.
He was on Jordan
Peterson's.
Okay, I don't care about all that. But he was giving interviews about his wife having sex with other people.
I don't know. He hasn't given interviews about that in a long time, I believe. But yes, his wife. He would allow his wife to have sex with other men, and then she divorced him. So he was totally cool with it, like cool with her just blowing dudes.
But wasn't she?
Well, that's your ally there, Charles. I don't know.
She an adult celebrity? I mean, adult like a porn star?
No, she was a child celebrity.
Oh, really? What?
No, he didn't marry a child. I don't know. Was she a porn star? No, I think you're thinking of Lena the Plug, maybe. Maybe.
This is a ridiculous conversation. Next.
I just want people to know where you're coming from. So I just want to share that sort of background.
Well, when I see the evidence.
Can I pivot us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
How are you guys feeling about the results personally?
Please.
I'll go because I haven't been this emotionally invested in the outcome of politics since like 2012. I watched that ad. I sent it to you guys. The ad with Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, and it like made me emotional. And at that point, I was like, "Damn, I'm like invested in Trump winning and like them doing great things for the country." And I was thinking about it last night. And I was like, "These guys better deliver." I know they're not gonna do everything they said they're gonna do, but they better deliver because they've got a lot of people hanging on every word, including me, who's very cynical about politics traditionally. I don't get invested. I don't believe national politicians. Typically, I love Thomas Massey. There are a few exceptions to that rule. But the way they ran this campaign and what they call the unity ticket, where they're bringing, disaffected Democrats on board, libertarians on board, and saying, we're going to declassify JFK files. We're going to make America healthy again. We're going to get poison out of the food that our kids are eating. Like that stuff really resonates with me. And I got incredibly invested emotionally in this outcome, and I'm excited for the future. I'm just a little like, is this just another politician that's lying to me? Or is the machine so strong that even if they try to do some of these things, they're going to get so much resistance? There's not enough time in 4 years to really make significant changes. Anyways, that's what I was thinking about last night in preparing for this show. Like, wondering how you guys are feeling. Are you equally as excited, or are you more skeptical?
Well, Michael, I can answer why you're more emotional about this election. I know the reason, because I went through it too. You're a father now, and weird things are going to make you emotional. Yeah. When I had my first son, I mean, I love going to. I like going to movies. And it doesn't matter if it's a good or bad movie. I rarely don't like seeing a movie. It may not be a good movie, but I still enjoy watching it. But there would be just random, like, I would get emotional at stupid movies that when there's like a sad scene, and I would think about, like, I don't know. I was a more emotional person because of it ever since I had my son. It's less so now. But I think what happened is that you became a dad. And now you're starting to like relate what's happening today to what's going to happen in the future and with your son. And I bet that's why. I don't know. Maybe you'll still be a pussy in a few years. I don't know.
That seems plausible. I don't know.
I don't know. Emotional before you had your son about this election?
I think it was I think it was there. I just didn't realize it. But yes, because I was texting with a friend of the show, State Rep Ellen Troxclair, and I was just like, I didn't even realize it was text. Like, I love that you're embracing this unity momentum and ticket. This is kind of what I've always hoped for the GOP, is that we would be a big tent. And previously I felt like it was, and maybe that's my own personal experience with the party, because I'm not as socially conservative as the Texas conservatives. And now it's like this big tent party where it's like, yeah, we want Tulsi Gabbard. She's pro-choice, but she's also anti-war, and she's honest, and she cares about the country, and we're going to welcome her in, even though she doesn't believe in the things we believe in. And she should be the 2028 candidate, but that's another subject. So I don't know. There's a lot going on there. It might be partially because I'm a dad, but I think there's more to it than that. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the country. I mean, I've been involved in politics for a long time now, and I see the decline that Trump talks about inartfully, and I'm hopeful that these freaking guys can turn it around, or start to turn it around.
Well, Trump's pro-choice too, so
true.
Well, so you've been hoping that the Republican Party would have this, big tent appeal. Would you say that Donald Trump pops a big tent?
I'm going to ignore your joke. It's okay one. No, I was always hopeful that the Republican Party. I was always hopeful that the Republican Party would become the vehicle for change in this country, where our entire political system is corrupted. And I've always felt like Ron Paul started that planting that seed. And I was always hopeful. And the first couple Trump, elections, I didn't feel like they got it yet. And now I feel like maybe they get it. Maybe he does get it. And maybe they're willing to do some stuff that's important, but maybe not.
Well, speaking of corrupted, we're gonna go back to this in just a minute, but you brought it up, so I figured I would just do it now. I'm trying to find it right now. Charles, did you have anything to say about what Michael just said while I find this?
Sure. Yeah. I did not feel anything when I watched that video, and I think it's because I'm broken on the inside. I could acknowledge. No, what is so funny? No, like, I watched it and I could see why people were excited. I don't know. I don't feel anything sometimes, like, for anything. And that's probably a separate problem. But I am excited about what the future holds, because I do think they're talking about things in a different way. I think they're talking about different things. I'm not particularly motivated by the seed oil stuff, but the fact that this is a broader conversation about, like, making the country more healthy and, like, you always see those memes of people showing kids in gym class in like the 60s and they're actually healthy and like doing like the presidential fitness test and not failing. It's like, it would be nice to actually have healthy kids again who aren't, taking deep breaths after they say 10 words. And so I do think that all that stuff is very exciting. I don't know. I'm from the show me state, you got to show me, and then I'm on board with you doing it, but I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And at the end of the day, I'm always, and I know you guys, or at least I know Michael shares this perspective, that at the end of the day, I don't even particularly care what they do, because I think that anything that I care about and that's going to be impacted is going to come from my city or my county or maybe the state. And that's where I really want to see change. If this level of change can trickle down to the local level, I'll be very happy. I'll be incredibly happy, and I will be forever indebted.
Well, on the local level here in Austin, we've had some pretty amazing statements about the presidential election from our elected heroes, and they're pretty retarded. But
well, and I'm going to say, I don't know that it did transfer to the local level, because didn't Mackenzie Kelly lose her reelection?
She did.
Sure, she did.
See? So,
for those that don't know, Mackenzie Kelly was the lone conservative on the Austin City Council, and now it's all 11 Democrats. So.
Yeah, they've completed the project that's been going on since 2014 to remove all Republicans from the city council, and they have succeeded, and it's going to be bad for the city. We already have the largest property tax burden in the country.
And in the country? You mentioned that the other day, and I didn't believe it.
No. Well, they clarified it. They said that of the places they analyzed, but I'm assuming that they looked at high property tax areas, and whoever that report was from, I can't remember. Wall Street Journal, New York. I don't remember.
Are you talking about the debt? The people, Austin has the most Austinites carry the most debts.
I'll send it to you. I think it was in the Statesman, but there was some analysis about property tax burden in metro areas. It said Austin had the highest in the country. And then my point was, this election, we approved tax rate increase at Austin ISD, which most of that money is not going to Austin ISD. It's going to go to the state and for the Travis County. And we still have this ridiculous 20% Project Connect increase. The city council has no concern for whether regular people can pay this stuff, and they're only concerned with what they want to spend our money on. And it's only going to get worse without a conservative on council.
They keep talking about an affordability crisis, but the city of Austin, the voters keep telling them that there's not an affordability crisis, because they keep saying, hey, make us pay more money. We don't care.
Well, and that's in part why I think the Democrats lost this national election. They keep saying the economy is fine. They kept saying crime wasn't an issue. They kept saying all these things, and everybody's like, but it is. Yeah. And they were like, but these people hate trans people. I was like, okay, but we can't afford food. So,
yeah. Well, so back to the corrupt system. I just wanted to pull this up. This happened yesterday. Statement from the FBI. FBI statement on offensive and racist text messages. They're talking about you, Charles. The FBI is aware of the offensive and racist text messages sent to individuals around the country and is in contact with the Justice Department and other federal authorities on the matter. As always, we encourage members of the public to report threats of physical violence to local law enforcement authorities.
How did they become aware of such text messages?
It's called backdoors.
Because there was a ton of them that went out. They went out all across the country to a lot of Black people. And so they started getting reported. And then it was found that there was a massive effort or organized campaign to send these text messages out. So, there was...
By who? Organized by who?
That's what they're trying to determine currently. There was a website that was used that you can purchase a phone number from, and so they went out through those numbers, and the account has been shut down, but they don't know who the person who started it is.
So it was a mass text.
Well, they were individualized. It was a mass text that said, it's like Charles Blain, tomorrow at 4:55. A brown van will pick you up and bring you to your designated slave drop-off spot, and you will be assigned section 555 to pick cotton for the rest of your life. Pack your bags, like blah blah blah. And they all had different names. Like they had your name. I didn't get one, but they had the person's individual name on it, and like all different sections and stuff. And so it was really weird. And so people started reporting it.
I bet I think it's probably from Kamala's campaign. She's kind of pissed off about this that black people didn't show up for her. Like
black people did show up for
black
her.
Men didn't.
Fair, but it was really Hispanic people that.
Do you see how divisive you are, Charles? It was Hispanic people. You're one of the people. You're one of the people that wants to deport all the Latinos.
I'm giving Hispanic people credit for securing the win. They are the ones who did it.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is interesting, Charles, and I want to get your take on it. This is from Dalla Short. I don't know who that is, but it got 3.6 million views. And here's his tweet. Black people, I think it's time we withdraw ourselves from anything unrelated to blackness. We advocate for so many marginalized groups only to be shown the feelings aren't mutual. Understood. It was a viral tweet. And this is now that Trump has won. That seems to be the sentiment on Black Twitter among a lot of people.
How would you know what the sentiment on Black Twitter is?
I said seems, didn't I? What do you think about that?
Are you asking me if I agree?
No, I didn't say. I said, what do you think about that? I didn't say, do you agree with that? I
mean, I think it's a sentiment among some black people, particularly black women, who feel that they need to do their own thing now because the party keeps abandoning them and doesn't protect them. But I think it's ridiculous to think any one ethnic group should or ethnic minority should vote for. I mean, this is like the same thing we've been saying forever. Why would you expect an entire group to vote for one person or party? And just because they've done it for a long time doesn't mean they need to continue to do it. But this is what happens when you go differently. They then vilify you and they turn you into a horrible person. So,
is this just like a time warp from 2016 where the Democratic Party starts blaming everybody else but themselves for why they lost?
Yeah, go on Twitter. They've been saying everything. It's racism, it's misogyny, it's white women, it's Hispanic women, it's Hispanic men. It's all like, I mean, they're blaming everybody except their candidate and their policies. And then the one time that they did address it was Gilbert Hinojosa, I think his name is Gilbert Hinojosa, yesterday, the Texas Democratic Party chair, who said it was about the messaging on transgender issues, and then they retaliated against him, and now he is resigning today. For speaking the truth, because we do know that issue, particularly in a lot of Hispanic communities who are socially conservative, and even in some black communities, a lot of black communities, particularly in the South and the Sun Belt, that does not resonate with people. And even white people aren't like fully on that. They don't want girls in their boys and girls sports either. So it's like, you know, it's a really unpopular message, and they did not know. And it's also what did not that I think Colin Auer is going to win anyway, but what I think did a lot of harm to him was getting attacked on that issue and his votes on that issue.
Michael's gearing up for something. What's going on, Michael?
You guys were trying to tell me that race was going to be close.
I did. No. I did. I admit to saying that.
I don't think I said that. Did I?
No. Well, somebody did.
I think it was Brad.
Even I underestimated how much he was going to win. I said more than 7, more than 6. All the signs I see point to no reflection again. Are you serious? Are they serious? They're going to have no self-reflection as to why Trump won the popular vote and had an electoral college landslide again. They're not going to look at themselves at all. It's crazy. The first thing, I tweeted this out, the first and best thing that the Democratic voters could do, I'm not telling them that they should, but they could do, is stop listening to the captured media. Stop reading the New York Times. Stop reading the Washington Post. Stop listening to CNN. Stop listening to MSNBC. Anybody who printed the headline, Donald Trump wants Liz Cheney to be in a firing squad, you should never listen to them again. That would be the first thing you should probably do.
They're not going. I thought this was an interesting theory about one certain demographic, and you know, it's people are really grasping for straws here. Observation: Kamala probably lost ADHD voters over Biden's DEA. The first thing ADHD Kamala voters have said to make each other feel better is, well, at least we got rid of Biden's DEA. Lots of folks suffered mightily over it during his presidency. It was unnecessary. People are addicted to Adderall and they're fucking nuts about it, is how I read that. You're an insane person. People didn't vote because of ADHD, obviously. but I guess they're happy now that the DEA is going to unleash more Adderall. I don't understand.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to
Fucking
me.
retarded.
But to your point about self-reflection, there will be none. I've been seeing a lot of these tweets and they've just been crazy. A lot of them are like, don't you dare blame Kamala or the campaign. Like, who else are you supposed to blame? And then like this one was so funny. This guy, he was like, Dems are so bad. It got me thinking, damn, maybe we did steal that last election.
Yeah.
This one says, hey, so I think it's less of a male loneliness epidemic and more of a young men become Nazis at a concerningly high rate epidemic. But then someone said, this was interesting. The most popular liberal podcast is a bunch of wonky Obama staffers who talk about issues that average person doesn't care about. The most popular right-wing one is a guy who hosted Fear Factor and knows literally nothing about anything. And if you think about it, I mean, sure, they're being a little offensive, but it's true. Like the most popular liberal podcast is one, and not even liberal podcast. One of the most popular podcasts in the political circles is Obama staffers talking about things that nobody cares about. And the most popular podcast overall, not just in conservative circles, is a guy from Fear Factor talking about things.
What is the Obama staffer podcast? What is that one?
It's called, I listened to it a couple times. I can't even remember the name of it. I don't know. I have it downloaded.
Memorable. It's memorable.
It's not good. I mean, it's truly like the wonkiest of wonky podcasts, and it's mildly interesting depending on the issue. What is it?
I know what it's called. I can't think of it though right now.
Yeah, I can't either, but it's there.
Pod Save America. Pod Save
there
America.
You go. Pod Save America.
Oh, those are Obama staffers?
Yeah.
Are they? Do they go paddleboarding or anything? Or do you think they're going to go paddleboarding after this? What, Charles? What do you think about the paddleboarder?
This is also a funny one. The day before the election.
All right, read
they
your
know better.
And then answer my question.
These two funny ones. It was guys talking about they don't trust no woman to run the country, but they call their fat ass mama for everything. And then this one was, I heard they giving out Don Julio shots, hookahs, and lemon pepper wings at the polls tomorrow. You guys better show up. So there were a lot of funny tweets.
Charles, what do you think about the paddleboarder?
I don't know how to paddleboard. So
no, not about paddleboarding. The chef, the Obama chef,
didn't hear about it.
That died, and you did hear about it. That died in a paddleboarding accident on the Obama's property. Reportedly, a very good swimmer. What do you think about that?
Sometimes the most simple answer is the answer.
I think the simplest answer is that there's some shenanigans afoot. I think that's the simplest answer.
I think the most simplest answer is that he was on a paddleboard and he passed away.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Have you never heard of Occam's razor?
No, I'm just like you guys, and I don't know anything about common references.
It's a problem-solving principle that suggests that the simplest explanation is most usually the most accurate one.
Yeah, and whatever New York Times tells you is the simplest answer. I
don't even read the New York Times. I don't know the last time I've got. Actually, it was election night when I was looking at the map. But I don't read the New York Times. I don't know why you keep saying New York Times.
Let's talk about the 13 because they're the paper of record according to some people on this show, and they don't lie. So here is, I think y'all know Alan Lichtman.
No.
Yes.
The 13 keys correctly predicted every presidential election based on these 13 keys since like the 80s or something like that.
Except for Al Gore.
Except for Al Gore.
Pennsylvania, to be honest with you.
You're nuts, dude. You're nuts.
He was.
No, I can't.
You're nuts.
But not based on the vote, but based on how far ahead she is compared to Biden.
Okay.
Still giving New York Times Trump a slight edge.
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Good music.
Wow.
Losing his mind.
She's going to win Pennsylvania, despite what the New York Times is projecting.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
I don't see how she doesn't win Pennsylvania.
I agree.
Because he won Pennsylvania and she's doing better.
Don't get too wrapped up in the New York Times projection. I don't even know if they're mathematically sound. Don't get too wrapped up.
I'm worried about everything. I still think she's going to win Pennsylvania, but
yeah, me too.
So I mean, I think when you look at some of this,
iffy to you right now?
What?
I think when you look at some of this stuff, it goes back to what happened in 2016, which is that this entire election, they were saying that it was close. It was neck and neck, neck and neck, and neck and neck. People chose not to answer polls or answering them incorrectly.
Alan Lichtman doesn't look at polls. He has
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about generally speaking across the country.
So you're changing the subject. Please don't do that. I'm the host. Thank you.
I'm talking about Alan Lichtman included in the broader conversation about.
How about your girl Ann Seltzer? Man, she was on fire. Let's look at the 13.
First of all, I didn't even know who she was until that night. So
you were so hard in the chat about Ann Seltzer being. She's been correct every single time. She's the best pollster. She's always accurate.
It's pronounced Ann Seltzer.
I don't. Oh, shut up. Yes, Michael.
Lichtman's. Oh, you're going to read the keys. I'm
not going to read all 13, but if you look at them, I mean, like no, they don't make sense that he picked Kamala over Trump based on the 13 keys.
Yeah, if you accurately applied his 13 keys, you'd get Trump is going to win because he said which candidate has more charisma, and he said Kamala Harris. That is obviously not true.
Yeah,
right. So
correct. I mean, no scandal. She was. I assume that her being anointed as the candidate with no primary is kind of a scandal. No social unrest.
Let's compare the scandals between the two. I mean,
strong short-term economy, strong long-term economy. No one believes that. Nobody. Incumbent seeking re-election. He included her. He made her the incumbent somehow. It doesn't make sense.
Alan Lichtman suffered from partisanship in his analysis. That's what happened there.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty obvious. And but watching him melt down on some video clips is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Brian Teeth, friend of the show, tweeted a lot of them. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, they're good. God, my eye looks so fucked up.
Don't worry about your eye.
I'm not worried.
Most people are just listening anyways. But on the polling, I mean, yeah, they got it wrong again. But if you look at who got the 2016, the 2020, and the 2024 elections pretty close, there's a consistent theme amongst pollsters that some are good and some are bad. That is what I took away. Atlas Intel, again, for the third election cycle in a row was the closest to the outcome. So you just got to pick and choose which polls you listen to, I think, at this point.
Who is closest?
Atlas Intel.
Oh, well, I think Polymarket is actually the closest.
That might be true.
Polymarket called it big time. Charles, you make any money?
No, I don't bet on stuff like that or at all, really.
Sounds like you have a gambling addiction, the way you said that.
Should have bet on Bitcoin.
Uh-oh. Should have bet on Bitcoin.
Should have bet on that damn sty.
Huh?
Nothing.
Are you going to bet that my sty is going to get bigger?
Does it hurt? It looks like it hurts. I'm not even being funny. I'm not even.
It's uncomfortable. And I think it started like maybe, I don't know, like a week and a half ago. Like it was just kind of uncomfortable. But I thought it was maybe eye strain. And then over time it started to get a little bit more swollen. But that's okay. I'm going to knock it out.
I've never had one.
I had one just recently. It's just a clogged pore. You're fine.
Yeah, it's just a clogged pore, Charles. It's not some sort of like eye sex thing, whatever the hell you're into. Whatever you're into.
It's just a rash. It goes away in a week.
Yeah, that's what they say. So let's see. What are we talking about now? So I thought this was interesting. RFK Jr. is obviously going to be, I think it's obvious he's going to be a part of the cabinet. Maybe. What do you think he's going to have? What do you think he's going to get, Michael?
Well, now that we got the Senate, he can get confirmed for HHS secretary, which oversees FDA, NIH.
You were worried about him not getting confirmed. Why?
Because Big Pharma will go throw a bunch of money around and try to stop him from being confirmed.
Don't you think he'll do that to Republicans?
Yeah, but I did not anticipate the mandate. I didn't anticipate how big of a win it would be, and I think Trump will put incredible pressure on the senators to confirm his choices. And I don't know how they oppose.
Chip Roy wrote an opinion for The Hill. Our healthcare system is dysfunctional. Here's how to make America healthy again. Chip Roy from Texas, opinion contributor for The Hill. American healthcare is getting more expensive, but Americans aren't getting healthier. No shit, Chip. Come on the show, Chip, and tell us about it, please. We spend $4.8 trillion annually. $4.8 trillion? Oh, God, a lot of that's coming from Charles, I'm sure. Spending more money on government programs is not the solution. We need a fundamental paradigm shift toward healthcare freedom. We spend 3 times more per capita than Italy on healthcare. The average American lifespan is 5 years shorter. Over 70% of American adults and nearly 40% of American children are overweight or obese. Charles, you're not helping the stats, buddy.
I'm not overweight or obese.
I beg to differ.
How about we compare BMIs and we see who can bench more or deadlift more?
The fact that you go off BMI means that you're retarded.
Let's see who can deadlift more. And we can do body fat percentage. I don't care. I have a higher body fat percentage, but I'm built differently.
Yeah, it sounds like an excuse of a fat boy. So I thought that was kind of cool. Our very own Chip Roy from Texas talking about fixing healthcare. It seems like RFK Jr. is really making a splash. Anything to say from either one of you
about what Chip Roy write an article about healthcare?
Is that something that you would have expected from Chip Roy, Charles?
I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. I don't know if he's talked about healthcare before. I guess I would not have expected that from Chip Roy.
Yeah, no, RFK definitely brought it into the lexicon for sure. And the big push was from Callie Means and Casey Means and Tucker Carlson and Robert Kennedy. And Tucker organized that. I don't know that he organized it, but he was part of getting Trump and RFK to team up. And RFK's ask was, I want to make America healthy again. And it completely brought it into the lexicon for conservatives. If you watch that clip from when RFK officially endorses Trump, the crowd goes bananas. Like Trump supporters, RFK's up there talking about getting corruption out of our federal agencies and making our kids healthy, and the crowd goes crazy, which is a change in the Republican electorate. I think that especially people with kids, like I don't think we want our kids to be unhealthy. Like I think there's an underlying desire for better information, healthier kids, and I think they're tapping into it. And I think Chip Roy sees that, so he put out.
I disagree with you.
Oh, go.
I think I disagree with you. I think people either don't care or do want their kids to be unhealthy. The amount of like affluent people that I see feeding their kids absolute garbage all the time, that typically, and they're aware, they know that it's garbage, they know that it's unhealthy, they know all of those things, and yet they still feed it to them all the time, and they keep doing it. And I don't understand why that happens. You know that, I don't know, goldfish are literal garbage. You know that Cheetos are garbage. Huh?
Do they?
Yes, they don't. They may not understand like why seed oils are bad. They may not understand all of the like little, hot trend or whatever, keto and all, whatever. They may not understand that stuff, but they know just logically or whatever that goldfish are trash.
I don't think most people do know that, actually.
No, I think
that I'm talking about know this. They may not know why. They may not look at the ingredients and think that red 45 or whatever the hell, like they may not know that it crosses the blood-brain barrier and like causes neurological effects. They may not know that stuff, but they do know that this stuff is not good for their children.
I think people intuitively know an apple is better than goldfish. What people don't know, and what I think it requires to make lifestyle changes, is the knowledge that it's poison. Like, I don't think normal people know that seed oils are poisonous. They're toxic. Like they're they're not good for you, but I think the bridge that you have to cross is like, this stuff is poison. And when you realize that, I think you change. You make some percentage of people change.
I think people know that a plum is not as healthy as an apple, just like they know Lay's potato chips are not as healthy as goldfish. And so when they let their kid get goldfish, it's a better alternative than something else. And
what a weird reference. A plum is not as healthy as an apple?
It has
True.
it's more sugary. It's like it's
Sure,
more like
but
candy.
it's such a random.
I'm giving you an equivalence. I'm saying like, yes, you might be like, okay, have the plum, even though I wish you would have the apple is better. Just like you're like, okay, have the goldfish, even though it's better because it's not Lay's. Like it's not Lay's double
But
fried.
go look at the healthy options in the store. Like a parent will go into the store and go get what they think is a healthy, let's say, granola bar, right? They're like, this is a healthy option. They're,
Sure.
no high fructose corn syrup. It says organic on here,
Nature's Valley,
but it's
best.
pumped full of chemicals.
Yeah,
because it's all marketing, and it's all people don't really know. They think they're making the right choice, but they're not. It still has seed oils. It still has sugar. It still has other poisons, toxins in it, but they think they're making the right choice. All those people that go to Whole Foods, dude, that's what they think they're doing, but they're not, because they don't really understand the depth of toxicity that's in our food, which I hope is going to be exposed.
Well, again, I don't think that I think the problem is that parents don't know how to parent their kids. They just let their kids choose all the dumbest shit, and they just say, well, they're a kid, they'll be fine. They're going to be all right. And they don't like to deal with the tantrums, all this other stuff, and they just let it happen. They let the kids run the show when it comes to dinner time or whatever. And I'll tell you this much, in this house, no, sir, you don't do that in this house. Right, Charles?
That's part of it.
I don't think that. I wonder if RFK Jr. is going to be able to make that, change, using Charles's favorite word, change the zeitgeist, where parents can be parents again and parent their children and give them, the better choices. And maybe he'll make it to where better choices are easier, because maybe they'll be
from making better choices. You want government to step in and make people eat healthier.
No, I would like the government to stop allowing, poison into our food.
Stop subsidizing it. That's the key. It's not.
Well, but you guys are saying two different things. Brad's saying allow, you're saying subsidize.
No, the first step is stop subsidizing the toxins. The only reason that unhealthy food is more affordable than healthy food is because of all the subsidies. The government is creating the situation. Well, it's also the food pyramid and stuff like that. But the reason it's more affordable in the grocery store is because it's all being subsidized by the federal government. So if we cut that out, then we have a market situation where they're competing at a price level, and people are going to look at quality, which one has better quality. And that is something that can happen over the long term. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see good information coming from our federal agencies about what's good for you and what's not, which it's not happening right now. And the second thing is I want to see us stop subsidizing the toxins. And I think those two things will make a significant difference in the choices people make.
I mostly agree, but you're always going to have communities that don't have grocery stores and only have a Dollar General, and are going to have shelf-stable stuff and not fruits and vegetables, and it's going to be the only thing people can pick up.
There's a lot of communities. Yeah, I'm not saying this is a panacea. It's going to fix everything. It's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey to healthy food if it ever happens. But I think you'll make significant differences with those two changes alone. It's not going to fix everything, for sure.
And I'm still eating goldfish. I'll probably go pick some up right after the show on my way to the hospital.
Because you're a disgusting person.
All right, let's see who deadlifts more.
Oh, what? So gross. Charles, do you have a trending topic?
No.
Oh,
the election was the trending topic.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh darn. Maybe there was something about it that was trending for you. I don't know.
No, I just think. I mentioned the judicial race in Texas, which I think are so interesting to see. But no, I don't have a trending topic, unfortunately. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm disappointed that Hung Cow lost.
Yeah.
That's a real shame.
Because
he lost to Tim Kaine?
Yep.
Well, why am I disappointed? Because his name is Hung Cow. God, I would have loved to have a Senator Hung Cow. That would have been great. Well, what
Virginia was a lot closer than people expected, I think.
It was very close. Kind of makes you
Yeah.
think that. Oh, here we go. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I found it. I think that we have a hard stop at 8:00. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
All right, Charles. I particularly want your take on this, Charles. You like basketball, Charles? Do you follow it?
Depends.
Depends.
Why'd you ask him?
Yeah, seriously. Michael's the tall one.
And the college basketball player.
Oh, yeah, and that too.
What do y'all think about Dwayne Wade's statue?
Oh, God.
What the
I
heck?
saw that.
Look at Dwayne Wade.
What? That doesn't even
No,
look
yeah,
anything
you should have
like
seen him when they unveiled it, and he was staring at it. It was like,
Doesn't even look anything like him.
It doesn't look anything like him. Why can't they do a sports statue right? I don't understand.
they don't do any of them right. Even the Madame Tussauds one. That thing looks angrier than the sty on Brad's eye.
You think you're cute? You think you're cute? Here's what is it? It's Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
That isn't
Statue.
the guy from what the frick is that movie called?
You're talking about Goonies.
Yes, that's not the guy from the Goonies. What's his name?
I don't know.
Oh God, what is the guy from
Crunch. What?
The one with the tooth there.
What is his name? What is the Goonies character? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
No,
Oh,
it's not
Grok.
Sloth.
Sloth. It is Sloth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sloth.
Hey, you guys.
I don't think I've ever seen Goonies. Maybe I did as a little kid.
What?
It's a great movie. You should watch it.
If I have seen it, it's been a long, long time.
Remember the guy who talks about how much he loves movies?
I said I like seeing movies. I don't say I necessarily love all the movies.
Right. So how would you not see that movie? It's one of those that's always on TV, like on the weekend and stuff. It's just kind of on.
No, again, we're gonna do this again, Charles. It's a movie that's on TV. No one watches TV. What are you talking about?
If no one watches TV,
It's the same thing. You're gonna go over Titanic. Titanic's always on TV, and I always see it on. No, you don't. You choose it. You're making a choice to watch the Titanic.
no, it's one of those things that's on like the Turner Broadcasting, and it's on, and so it's like, let me just sit down and watch this, or let me.
Nobody watches Turner.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta run.
Oh my God, you're an elderly person. All right, this has been the BCM Podcast. We appreciate you listening as always. Please like, subscribe, and share with friends. Click the fucking notification button or whatever the hell you're supposed to do, and retweet the fuck out of this show so you can win a freaking hat. Any final words, guys?
Matlock is on at 4.
Oh God, you're so fucking weird. All right, well, I'm gonna end it. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.